When you're pricing, you absolutely must price in front of the client. And the reason for that is because if you do that, if you price in front of the client, you maintain control of the process, you create transparency and trust because they can see how your price is building up. Also, it means that you close more deals, you win more business, because if when pricing with the client, the price is too high, you can do things to change it, you can change the package. Whereas if you send a price through the mail or by email in a proposal, you've lost control. So let me show you how you do that and get higher prices in the software.
You can use cloud pricing to price anything, and I'll tell you more about that in another video. But once you're in front of the client, the idea is that you ask them a series of questions, involve them in the pricing process. So I've got a quick model here for pricing, setting up a cloud accounting system like QBO, for example. So we might want to ask them the question, what system do they want to move to? And we could set up as many different systems here as possible. But if, for example, you were a QBO Pro Advisor and wanting to help people move to QBO, that might be your recommended system. And you could set it up so that if the client desperately wants something different, which you don't like so much and might create more work for you, the pricing can reflect that. You might want to ask them what system are they on right now, because that affects the scope of the work. If they're moving from a desktop system to a cloud system, that's probably easier than moving them from, say, a manual set of books and records, an Excel spreadsheet, or whatever. So we can build that into our pricing and help with the scope work. We can ask if their system is up to date. And then we can move on to different sections. So we might want to know some information about their business. We might want to know how many employees they have. And the reason for that is because we might decide to give them the choice of us setting up their employees on the cloud accounting system. And if they want us to do that for them, our price therefore might depend upon how many employees. Likewise, how many bank accounts they have. So I'm going to say 2, because they might want us to set up their bank feeds. And you might want to make that build that into the price based upon how many bank feeds need setting up. And my third and final section of questions, some preference questions, is we might ask them things like, do you want us to set up bank feeds, yes or no? Would you like us to set up your employee records? Do you want us to set up your products on the system? Would you like our 7-day fast track guaranteed turnaround service? Do you want this done fast? So we can ask questions to understand the scope of the work, but also what things that they want, preferences, choices, options. Once we've done this, we then can reveal our different offerings, our different packages. I have 3 set up here, and you could take the client through what they get. You'll see this is default data. This is just a quick model I've pulled together just to demonstrate. But you would list here all the things that you would do as part of your services. And once the client's then said which one they feel might be right for them, and so it may be they're feeling, yeah, the middle one looks good to me, then once you're ready, you've built up the value, you're ready to reveal the price, we hit fixed price. And we can see here it's 3 payments of 936. In this case, euros, but you can change the currency. So we reveal the price. And here's the important thing about involving the client in the process. When you reveal that price, there will really be one of 2 reactions. Number 1, okay, that's great. Where do we start? When do we sign up? That's one option. Or the other is, that's expensive. That's outside my budget. I can't afford that. And the great thing about involving the client in the process is if that's the reaction you get, we can plan for that. We can change things. And there are many things that we can change in the way that we've priced. So the first thing that I would do is actually go back and revisit the preferences. So if 3 payments of 936 is too expensive, we might explain that that some of these things you might say, okay, so which of these is least important to you? Well, we're not sure. We could probably set up the products ourselves. Absolutely. If you want, we can show you what to do and you can go away and set up the products. Okay, well, if you do that yourself, let's see what that impact that has on the price. And we can see straight away it's now dropped to 842. And some interesting things happen with price psychology. That first price creates an anchor, and so the second one feels much, much less at 842. They might say yes. But if they don't say yes, if it's still too expensive, we can go back and we can change some other things. We could say, well, perhaps you don't need this done fast. Is that important to you? No, I guess not. So what would happen if we did a bit slower? Well, if that's the case, the price is just 702. And essentially what you do is you go backwards and forwards and change the package until the client says yes. Now, if they don't say yes, and you still want to win the work, there are other things that we could do. That's why we have other packages. So rather than 3 payments of 702, which if you do the math is about 2,100, they could forego some features and have the entry level. And even if that's too high, there's other things that we can do. We call them behavior rewards, where we offer effectively a discount if they do something that helps us. For example, it may be that we give them a discount of 10% if they agree to pay us in advance. And so by involving the client in the process in different ways and using ways that you set the system up, is you can just keep working with the client until either they eventually say yes and you close the deal, or you might decide, do you know what, this client is just not worth the hassle, they do not see value, I'll move on to the next one. And when you do it this way, you will convert more clients and you'll get higher prices because you'll have the confidence to go in with a high price to start with, knowing that if that's too high, you have a system for changing the price.